What's up, guys? Miss Nostradamus here for the Scorpio Sun and Rising Tarot reading for the Aquarius season. So the cards that I pulled, for a second, this kind of mind boggled me. I'm not entirely sure. Don't know if I'm just kind of clouded or what. But I pulled the Indolence card. It's a Pisces Neptune card, and the Failure card. It's associated with Taurus. And I know people make fun of me for that. That I can never say that one, and it's the Taurus card related one. It's not how to read them. I don't know how to pronounce some things sometimes. I'm kind of used to that because I read a lot of stuff that's, in other languages and stuff. So I automatically assume I can't pronounce half the things. But anyway, then the Tower card, as well as the Completion with Aries, and then the Hermit, which is a Virgo card. So this was kind of throwing me off for a second. I'm like, So for the Scorpio Sun and Rising for the Aquarius season, an overall theme of complacency. That's signified by the Indolence card and the emphasis on Pisces and self-undoing. And the lack of stabilizing or prepping for oneself or assessing resources that will basically a lack of preparation in general and a lack of self-sustainability will basically be a catalyst to enable potential failure, to utilize the collective point of view and influence those in authority and positions of power by their mentality, their ideas, and their point of view. It emphasizes on the 8th house. That's obviously the Plutonian house, and that could be correlated with like disease as well as occult and dark sort of things, Plutonian-esque things. And then the 7th and the 4th house are angular houses, so this is about the cause and effect of the overall foundation of the collective's mentality or point of view. So the mainstream and the mundane obviously has very polarizing perspectives, typically from like a Plutonian or Scorpio mentality. And so with this Jupiter and Scorpio time frame for this year, this is the ample time for anybody with the Plutonic mind, more or less, like myself in this case, to utilize and actually express or share some sort of Plutonian-esque or plutocracy or secretive occultish themes or that sort of thing, because this will be the ample time when people will be willing or potentially humoring any kind of outlandish dark stuff that they typically would be turned off of otherwise. So overall, I'm not entirely sure if it's because I'm a weird Plutonian in general, and I'm not a Scorpio Sun or Rising, but what I know from Boo, because Boo's a Scorpio Rising, and he's got his North Node in Scorpio as well, is that he's very interested in his occultish, esoteric stuff, but he doesn't give a fuck to share it with anybody, or to articulate it or project it for anybody to hear it. I even have to feel like I'm pulling teeth to get, his input on things that he's thoroughly like writing stuff about and he's interested in. So I would assume that the complacency in general just comes from the lack of not giving a fuck to actually humor the mainstream collective, because a lot of the Scorpio mentality is usually just like, I'm deeper than that, or I'm way beyond that, or why am I going to basically backtrack and lower myself to their level so I can explain something to them that, I got a long time ago, that sort of thing. But most Scorpios, especially if you're like, Capricorn influence as well, would utilize this to their advantage so they could basically get in influences or good favor with some of the powers and authorities that be. So since there's an overwhelming thing of complacency and lack of acting, I put the actual acting cards, the orange ones, for my karmatic cards. So the North Node in Taurus in the 8th house. On a spiritual level, it would be having faith in your beliefs as if it's a life or death issue. That's usually the Scorpio mentality anyway. And then on a mental or psychological level, do not worry about the costs of getting or using power. Yeah, that's the same concept as trying to tell a Cancer to not fixate on family stuff. Good luck with that one. Then on the physiological or mundane level, now is the time to use the most direct way and use other people's resources. So that is also an emphasis with the lack of preparation and stabilization for the 2nd house in Taurus. So as basically a plan B or a last resort, you may have to actually utilize other people's resources for lack of preparation, because that could translate to that as well. Depends on the context and everything like that. But I instantly looked at this and I'm like, huh. And I'm like, so failure to, I mean, I'm obviously probably just projecting, but failure to like prep for like, the stock market, like the economy crashing or resources being gone or that sort of thing, a natural disaster. And I am kind of sidestepping and thinking that's like the Aquarius, Uranus, neurotic kind of fate, like Final Destination mentality that I probably still have going on. But then I was also contemplating on the whole, flu pandemic thing and people not being prepared, like on a nutritional level and taking care of themselves, and that could be potential too. But I could also be projecting that. I think that's what my problem is, because this is really hilarious that I was stumped with this one, but I was just busting out the other ones like nothing. And if anything, I embody with the Scorpio Mercury conjunct with Pluto, and yeah, and with Jupiter and Scorpio going over that right now, I mean, I should really have this one in the bag, but apparently I was just blown away because I'm like, what part of me is projecting and what part of me is accurate? So I mean, you be the judge. Tell me what you think. I'm sure I at least touched base on one of the potential themes, if not all of them. Yeah. All right, that's it. Thank you, Scorpio Sun and Rising.